Shalom Yasharala, this your brother Dawadah, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here quick little lesson really right here, dealing with basically, these prophecies speaking, they're loud and clear right now. All right, they're hitting back to back to back to back, on and on and on and on. We could be talking about the wars and the rumors of wars. Or we could be talking about the mark of the beast. We could be talking about Jacob's trouble. We could be talking about the end of Babylon, man. All right, all these things are all screaming out loud right now. All right, so let me just briefly read through this here article. All right, it says, seems to be fake news. Iran's foreign minister denies that senior Iraqi IRGC commander was killed in a drone strike on Iraq-Syrian border. The Iran's foreign minister has apparently denied reports that the senior Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps commander and his 3 escorts were killed in a drone strike on their car near Iraq's border with Syria. It seems to be fake news, ministry spokesman Saeed said in a press briefing on Tuesday in Tehran. He added he was unaware of the reports regarding the drone strike and directed further questions to Iran's military. The commander was identified as Muslim Shadan, and some reports on Monday. 2 Iraqi officials reportedly told Reuters that the commander's vehicle was struck on Sunday, shortly after crossing into Syria from Iraq at Al-Aqam with loads of weapons. There was no claim of responsibility for the alleged drone strike. The reports came less than 1 week after Iran's top nuclear scientist, Mohsen Farazad, this guy's last name, was assassinated on Friday while his convoy of bulletproof vehicles was driving to Absard, east of Tehran. Accounts of the incident shifted sharply on Sunday, with the semi-official Fars news agency saying that he was shot with a remotely operated machine gun. Previously, reports indicated that the convoy was ambushed by a 12-person commando team, which was backed by a 50-person logistic group that infiltrated Iranian security services. All right. Iranian officials have blamed Israel for the killing of this scientist. And state media reported on Sunday that the weapons used to kill the scientist was made in Israel. All right. So, hey, as you see, me and another brother were speaking about these things just the other night of how, you can get stories like this confused, when you talk about, if you try to tell people about this here story, people are like, yeah, I heard about that. The Iranian nuclear scientist was killed, the other day. But like, no, not that guy. Somebody else got killed after that, so on and so forth, So by the time you can digest one story, you have another story hitting, just like with the basically the killing of Jake, with the so-called Black Lives Matter movement and everything like that. Before you can find out all the information about what happened with one Jake that wound up getting killed, there's another one in the news, So let's go to some scriptures real quick, just touching on a couple of different scriptures here and there. All right, this is Habakkuk 2 and 3. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come and it will not tarry. All right, prior to 2020, you used to have a lot of these scoffers out here on the highways and the byways, people that we know, or on the comment boards or whatever, whatnot, always laughing and scoffing at our so-called views of certain things. When we were prophesying about these things, America would never be invaded by another country, whatever, whatnot. America ain't going to war. It's stupid for them to go to war. The nukes don't exist. UFOs don't exist. So on and so forth. All these different things people used to laugh and scoff at us about. There's going to be race wars. Oh, no, race relations are better than ever right now, But then all of a sudden, 2020 comes around, and guess what? All the mouths of these scoffers are shut silent, and guess who's speaking? The Most High is speaking, all right, through his prophecies, man, all right? And this is what you have going on right now, man. See, we were set out before these things was to take place, to tell you about them before they took place. That's the whole, basically the definition of a prophet. They're going to tell you before it happens, You have basically a meteorologist, or quote-unquote a weatherman, all right? He's going to tell you that it's going to be a storm before the storm comes. Any regular fool can just go outside in the middle of the storm like, yo, it's storming outside, man. All right, but he can't tell you based off of the weather forecast that there's a storm coming, So, hey, we right now in a point in time where any fool can go outside and see all the things that we were talking about, all right? Because, wow, we're at the end all, be all of these things, man. Are pushing the mark of the beast all heavy. There was a lot of people that was talking about, what's the difference between the different camps and the groups, and the mark of the beast is this, and that was a great controversy. But guess what? What do you have going in the legislation right now, man? All right, that prophecy is speaking louder than ever, man. They're trying to silence us because we've been speaking about their plans for so long, and it's actually getting out to these people, and the people are actually seeing these things being fulfilled, and people are believing on these here words, man. So now they have to try to shut us down because why? Let me read it again. Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come, it will not tarry. All right. Let me go to let me try to find this other one real quick while it's on my mind. Give me a second. This one here says it perfect. We can get it somewhere else. But it says Jeremiah 49 and 20. Therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he hath spoken against Edom, and his purpose that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. All right. And so what you have to understand about, I could have read this in Habakkuk 2 where I was just right there. All right. He's a proud man and neither keepeth at home. All right. And he's always in everybody else's, let me go back to read that real quick. Habakkuk 2 and 5 says, yea, also because he transgresses by wine. All right. He's basically a dragon that speaks like a lamb. He's always talking about, we want to bring peace and this and that, so on and so forth. But look at his actions. Yea, also because he transgresses by wine, neither keepeth at home. All right. Who's always in everybody else's business, meddling, and, they got their foreign affairs, or what they call their foreign policy. All right. Neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and as his death cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a proverb against him, a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his? How long to him that ladeth himself with thick clay? Because, see, America is carrying on this, right now, America has the most debt that this world has ever seen, based off of a nation. All right, the United States is in further debt than any other nation in any other time of civilization has ever been, right? Their number one spending cost is going to their military budget, right? And then trying to invade and propagate their situations in other countries, like in Venezuela with Nicolas Maduro and so on and so forth, regime change. This is what they're trying to do, all right? But they're basically saying, how long are you going to keep doing these things? How long are you going to be meddling in other people's situations, What's going to allow these people to pretty much say, where is it at? Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. So this is what you have going on right now, man. All right, because, I should have probably brought this other one back out in Jeremiah 49. All right, we were just reading about Jeremiah 49 and 20. It says, therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he have taken against Edom, and his purpose that he have purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, and surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Like I said, I didn't really plan these here scriptures in any kind of order, but nevertheless, kind of just jumping around. What you have going on right now is America, Esau, Edom, one of their counterparts here being in America, they like to so-called meddle in other people's nations and their business and so on and so forth, But what they'll also do is they'll use Israel as like a victim to go out there and provoke other nations. So what they'll wind up doing is they'll go out and make, let's say, Israel sit there and throw a rock at somebody, right? We're using an analogy. They throw a rock at somebody, and when that person go to try to move away from that rock, from hitting them in the head, or try to swat the rock out their way, or try to defend themselves against that, Israel will sit there and cry, see, they trying to attack us. Then guess who's going to come to their aid? Big brother America, right? They always send them in certain things or whatever, whatnot to prop them up. All right, so ultimately, this, what they have going on over there with the Iranian situation, you had Donald Trump attack Qasem Soleimani, the top general at the beginning of the year. All right, now they don't quite know who did the Iranian top nuclear scientist, but they're saying, hey, it looks like it's coming from Israel. All right, now they had this third one that just happened, But basically, Esau, Edom, whether you want to, say they're coming from here in America or Israel, because they're both basically, they're hand in glove with one another, man. All right. But basically, they're provoking these other nations. All right. But what a lot of the times they're using Israel to do these things because they know that Israel looks weak comparably to all these other nations. Like, for instance, Iran would smoke Israel in a war one-on-one. You see what I'm saying? But so Israel will sit there and keep throwing rocks at their ass, and then once Iran stands up, guess who's going to be looking over Israel's shoulder to sit over there to dominate their ass, right? So ultimately, Amalek over there, all right, with all his meddling and everything that he's doing and playing the victim, is ultimately going to draw out these other nations to come out to wage war up against not only Israel but America, man. All right, this is going to pop and start World War III, man. All right. Let's go to Matthew 24 about these wars and rumors of wars, because this is what you have speaking right now, all right? This is Matthew 24:3. It says, and he sat upon the Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us what shall be these things, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world. So these are the signs of the end that we're in right now, right? It says, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, all right? Now, obviously, there's always been wars and rumors of wars on the planet Earth, but right now what you have going on is there's so many wars and rumors of wars taking place that all it takes is for, two nations that are at war with each other to have a common ground with another two nations or a third nation to be at war with somebody else, and for them to just be like, just look at the old world wars, man. It wasn't the old world wars 1 and 2, they didn't start with just two great big sides saying, look, our side versus your side, our clique versus your clique. No, it started out with you had a conflict between this nation and that nation, and while they over there fighting, there's another conflict between this nation and that nation. All right, and then there's a third conflict that's going on, but this person is actually allies with that person who's actually fighting against somebody who's allies against the other person. So now there's all these different nations are at war with one another, and they're trying to get strategic gains right now. So you see these things going on, whether you have America and China in the South China Sea. All right, you have those different wars over there, like in the Middle East, like in Yemen and Jordan and things like that. All right, Israel and Iran and things like that. All right, whether you have America versus like Venezuela and things like that. But then you have one common denominator in all these different things, right? Russia is allies with all these people, right? For the most part, not the American sides, but they're allies with all these other people, man. All right, so all it takes is just for them to just have one little split situation. For instance, the Iran and the Israel situation. Now, that could be a beef just between them two. But guess what? If Israel wants to sit there and try to strike Iran like they're doing, and Iran want to stand up for themselves to defend themselves, strike back at Israel, America's going to step up to aid Israel. Russia's going to step up to aid Iran. And then everybody else is going to just join the party, man. So as we read this again, Matthew 24:6, and you should hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, all right? And you have these things going on right now, especially with Jacob and Esau. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. You've seen a lot of these different actual, physical nations, like these land masses, all right, beefing with one another. Even so, a lot of their allies are beefing with one another, man. All right, NATO and the EU don't have a great relationship with America right now, man. The EU is actually tearing its own self apart, man. You also have other issues between NATO and just other NATO members, not even talking about America. Like, for instance, who is that? Germany and or Greece and Turkey. All right, they have their differences and everything like that. So you have all these different nations, all right, whether they're Edomites on Edomites or, Edomites versus Moabites and things like this. All these different people are basically, how they saying calling each other out, more or less to say, man. All right, so all it takes is one big slip up, and with these things is going on with these Iranian top militants or whatnot being assassinated and killed off. All right, now if that was the opposite way around in America, that would be an aggression and an act of war. If you was to kill anybody, hell, America would be like, well, shit, we're not currently at war with y'all, and y'all want to kill one of our privates. And if you don't understand, military term, that's in like the army, the lowest rank that you can have. Well, you can have a lower rank than a private. What do they call it? A NIC or a NIP, non-insignia private. So when you first come in, you don't really have an insignia like a actual rank on you. You know what I'm saying? Unless you got one of those boosters where you actually come in as like a private first class. But nevertheless, you could be less than that. So let's just say hypothetically, Iran happens to kill one of these dudes just because this American is over in Iran, and the Iranians happen to kill him because he wound up stealing something, getting the police chasing and killing him. Oh, that was an act of war, right? How much more the top military general, man? All right, the top commander, all right? Or how about, the top nuclear scientist, man? All right, or any of these people, man. all of a sudden, they act like, oh, well, let's not retaliate till we find out these things and so on and so forth, man. America's been provoking, America and Israel's been provoking, these nations, especially Iran, for the longest time, man. All right, it's a certain point in time to where these nations are going to start saying, what you're starting to see the buildup of these nations. All right, the weak starting to say, I am strong, man. All right, let me grab, I might not have time for that other one. I'm going to make this real quick. Okay, that's in Isaiah 14 and 8. No. 14 and 14. I was going to read 10. But we're going to read, just for time's sake, 14 and 16. They shall see thee. They that see thee shall nearly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms, that made the world a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of the prisoners? All right, so hey, going back to Habakkuk 2. All right, he transgresses by wine, neither keepeth at home. All right, all the other nations gonna look at him like, damn, bro, how long are you gonna lading yourself for this thick clay? How long are you gonna be in these other nations neighborhoods and meddling with their their own agendas? Now everybody's looking at Americans like, yo, bro, you're not coming over here to bring quote unquote democracy, all right, or freedom, liberation, to help out or anything. You come over here to destroy everything, man. This is what you coming over here to do. You the dude that's over here blowing up the whole damn world and destabilizing the whole damn world, man. All right, pre 2001, the Middle East was pretty quiet over there, man. You had a couple of those nations kind of like warring with each other, but hey, they over there dealing with their own people, man. But guess what happened after the so-called white man took his ass over after 2001, man? He's completely destabilized what they call the whole Middle East, man. And they're still over there like that to this same day, man. You think those people over there are crazy now? Why do you think they got all like that? Why do you think they got all super radicalized and whatever, whatnot like that, man? Because you've been over there bombing them consistently for the last 20-something years, man. All right, with no regard for life. All right. You know what? I was going to read this here in Ezekiel 38. But nevertheless, we're going to go ahead and close out with that for just time's sake. I was going to go into, about how Russia was going to be a guardian to these people, because I happened to mention about how world wars don't necessarily start out with just two big-ass groups saying, you know what, my group versus your group. All right, they start off with small skirmishes and things like that. Like, for instance, let me just briefly touch on it real quick. Let me read verse 7. Ezekiel 38 and 7, it says, be thou prepared and prepare thyself, thou and all the company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. All right, so you have, let me see if I can find this other one real quick. Jeremiah 51 and Salakia. Give me 1 second. Maybe it was 50. All right, for time's sake, here it is right here. Jeremiah 50 and 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. So we were just reading about this in Ezekiel 38. All right, talking about be a guard unto them. When you read furthermore into that, they mentioned Persia, which is Iran. All right, you see these things happening. These are how these conglomerations of nations are slowly but surely being formed, and really, it's America that's driving these other nations closer together. You can have different nations that have different differences between one another. They don't really get down with each other like that or whatever, whatnot. But they got small differences. Oh, you like eating this and we don't like eating that, whatever, whatnot. But then all of a sudden, we got a bigger problem. You know what I'm saying? We can't really agree on what we like to eat, but we cool and comfortable drinking in the same bar together. But this guy over here, all right, he keep coming and towing all of our cars or whatever, whatnot. Let's gang up together and whatever, get him out of the situation. That's pretty much what you got going on. America's forcing these other nations to basically be together with one another, man. Forcing their own allies to break apart from America and start hating America, man. All right, so it says, for lo, I'll raise the cause to come up against Babylon, an assembly of great nations from the north country, which is Russia, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrow shall be as a mighty expert man, and none shall return in vain. All right, going back into Ezekiel 38, be thou a guard unto them. All right, that thou and that great company, this is what's going on. You see these nations being pushed to be in agreement with one another, and also to have the same common enemy and work together conspiring together against their same common enemy to take her out. All right. So we're going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And citation, much love for you. I can push this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.